Sanctions busting is as old, as the hills, but North Korea has devoted considerable intelligence and expertise to it. A Washington Post report has documented how North goes about selling Cold War-era arms to customers on practically every continent and even to insurgents.
Egypt and the United States have been allies for a long time, and Washington rolled out the red carpet when the Egyptian president came visiting last month.
It is a great honor to have with us today President El-Sisi of Egypt. We have worked long and hard, and we are making a lot of progress on a lot of different fronts, and we appreciate everything that you've done. Thank you very much. And I know you appreciate everything that we've done.
أنا فخامة الرئيس اللي بشكرك على إتاحة الفرصة لي إن أنا ألتقي بك مرة تانية مجددا وبشكر فخامة الرئيس على كل الدعم اللي بتقدمه لمصر. شكرا جزيلا.
The smiles and the sweet talk concealed an embarrassment. According to the Washington Post, Egypt had been caught out buying banned North Korean rocket-propelled grenades, 20,000 of them hidden under a pile of iron ore covered by a tarpaulin and loaded on board a ship flying Cambodian colors. The ship was tracked, intercepted at the Suez Canal, and the illicit cargo found. The Washington Post report described North Korea as a global eBay for vintaged and refurbished Cold War-era weapons. These are offered at prices often lower than prevailing rates. The report said North Korea had developed considerable expertise in running such contraband in violation of sanctions, including use of false flag shipping and concealment of illegal cargo and bulk shipments of legitimate goods. The North has scores of arms factories making small arms, mortars, ammunition, even artillery, and small ships. The weapons are made under license from original equipment manufacturers in China and Russia who no longer make or service these weapons. The result? North Korea is able to supply customers in 4 continents, including insurgencies. The United Nations Security Council was all prepared to unveil a document on the North sanctions busting in February, but for some reason decided to withhold it. The report referred to North Korean missions abroad playing key roles in sales, procurement, finance, and logistics to facilitate sanctions busting. They even used bulk cash and gold transfers to get around official banking channels. In Malaysia, a company called Glocon or Global Communications and International Global Systems are listed by the UN. They function as fronts for Pan Systems Pyongyang, a North Korean company which procures and markets arms. It has an extensive network in Southeast Asia and the Arab world, and is backed by the Reconnaissance Global Bureau, the premier intelligence agencies. The sophistication of the network is evident in that in 2013, a ship was stopped in Panama, and a search turned up anti-aircraft missile systems and even MiG fighter jets. Clearly, as long as there are customers, there will be suppliers, and North Korea is one supplier who so far has remained a couple of steps ahead of the law. Bureau Report, WION.
And to discuss more on this on the program, we're being joined by Joby Warwick. He's the correspondent for the Washington Post. Joby, how likely is the war between the United States and North Korea given the ongoing tensions between the two?
We're hoping, I think security officials hope, that this is just background noise, that there's a lot of posturing that's going on right now with an attempt to try to set up some kind of deal, perhaps to create so much pressure that all the big players in the region will feel compelled to try to do something to stop a really dangerous situation. But the talk itself is quite dangerous. As you well know, this belligerence coming from both sides is sort of amping up the pressure and could very well lead to a miscalculation or just some mistake on someone's part that could launch a really serious conflict. And we just hope that saner voices in the conversation will prevail here. But again, on this, I think what we see here with this Egyptian example is that the task of bringing North Korea, into a more sane position with this weapons program is really a complicated problem and can't be solved strictly with sanctions alone. It takes more of an international effort and much diplomacy and much hard work.
What is North Korea's plans? Is this a case, is it to build allies or to make a profit?
You know, we see North Korea being willing to sell pretty much anything that'll create hard revenue, hard currency for it. And it could be anything from fake cigarettes to pharmaceuticals. This, it seems, is just one other product. In the past, North Korea was very serious in trying to build military-to-military relationships, and some of these sales are essentially legacies from that period. Now it's just all about raising money. They've got surplus stocks, they've got a potential market out there, and they're just trying to connect the two to make some cash.
Is this a major slap in the face for the United States, or perhaps an embarrassing ordeal?
Well, Egypt is one of the biggest recipients of U.S. military aid in the world, and that does make it a little bit of a touchy situation. It also explains why the U.S. handled this so quietly. No one publicly accused Egypt of doing anything wrong here. There was just some general suggestions that Egypt is doing some bad things with North Korea and it should knock it off. We saw some money being withheld that would normally go to Egypt. It's being delayed or in some cases frozen. So yeah, it's a cause of consternation, that a lot of it behind the scenes, but this is something that American officials are a bit concerned about right now.
Also, how prepared is the United States, when it comes to dealing with North Korea, the sanctions, the isolation perhaps?
Well, this is the wild card, and we're all sort of in uncharted territory here, because we do have an experienced national security establishment that's around the president, everyone from the national security advisor to the defense minister, others who are seriously engaging with North Korea and trying to do it through normal, traditional economic and diplomatic channels. And then on the side, you've got the president saying some things that we've never seen a U.S. president say before. And we have to just, you have to, in a way, kind of disregard that or just consider it just being background noise, as I said, and look at the process that's underway and hope that that's what's really going to yield a solution. It's the steady, slow, unglamorous work of diplomacy and multi-party diplomacy. And I think that's what's going to bring about a solution if there is one.